possible, one that was likely, and one that they hoped would happen. They created a description, and we had them look and talk about what those expected outcomes would be, not just for the organization as a whole, but for the individuals that worked within the organization, the partners of the organization, and the clients of the organization. And we looked at the risks, implications, and opportunities for each of those. And what we found at the end of that, and we had a long debrief with the leaders of the organization afterwards, and a few weeks later as well. And we found that the individuals within the organization really changed that mental model away from purely reacting, away from waking up every morning and thinking, I wonder what terrible things are going to come out today. What am I going to have to deal with today? To waking up every morning and having a quick team meeting and saying, let's plan to do this. We need to think about these things. And it really changed that mood within the organization by looking at what were the different scenarios. So I'm going to just pause there. And that was, like I said, just one example of a type of process that I have used with a number of clients to help them move away from that purely reactive stance to a more proactive stance. And I'm just wondering if anybody has any particular questions before we go into our groups to talk more about the larger picture, about what we're hearing from our clients and what types of questions we can help our clients with and how we can do that. The scenario planning is one example, but I'm sure there's lots of examples that you have been using with your clients that we can share and talk about. Any particular questions before we move forward? All right. Seeing none, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into groups. You'll be placed randomly. Sorry, go ahead.
There is one question. What changes are required in the employee appraisals?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question, Narcy?
What changes are required in employee appraisals? Would you like to take it now? Yeah.
Employee appraisals. And I think that the entire HR system at a number of organizations have really struggled with how to deal with all of their staff. In some organizations, all of their staff being dispersed, that they're working from home, how to ensure the cohesiveness, how to do the evaluation and the appraisal of employees, all of those types of things. I have not actually, I've talked to some HR groups about doing some work with them on that, but we haven't actually finished that. I'm not sure if anyone else in the group has been working specifically with HR organizations or departments to try and help them through those questions. And if they have, feel free to jump in and talk about what you have found in that area.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Nilima here. I've been working for a company wherein during this time for the appraisals, they've been looking in for, usually we see the outcome and the appraisal is done on what is the result. But this time, this organization, what I had suggested them that why not you look at the efforts also, because people are putting in a lot of efforts. Maybe the outcome has not come the way we had desired, or when we set the goals in January, it did not happen. But this organization, we are like giving importance to the efforts taken also, but usually had not been the case. Yeah, so I thought I could share this point. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly, Padma Kumar has raised his hand. Yeah.
Padmakar, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So a couple of organizations have brought in this aspect that in the last about 8 9 months, the emphasis has been somehow more on compliance rather than initiatives. So earlier there was a lot of weightage given to employee initiatives in terms of what new the person is bringing to the table. But over the last about 8 to 9 months, probably because there is a lot of effort in adjusting to the new reality, uh, the emphasis on innovation or initiatives is kind of sort of replaced by more of how compliant are the people. Do they attend all the meetings on time? Do they submit their reports on time? All the aspects relating to doing what is needed to be done rather than what one could potentially do. So this is one of the things that came up in a couple of discussions in organizations. And is that something that over time will get back to where we were in terms of encouraging initiatives, encouraging people to think outside the box? Or will there be more of this, first let's get our act together before we think of new things? So this is one of the aspects that's coming up in appraisal discussions.
Yeah, absolutely, Padkumar. That's part of the, and I think someone in the chat had mentioned kind of the big question of there have been a lot of changes over the last year that have happened because of the pandemic, because of the speed of decision making, and which of those are things that we as an organization see as positive and forward thinking, and we want to keep going, and we want to evolve, and we want to continue, and which of those things really have been regressive or have not provided us with the kind of positivity or the evolution that we want to move towards. So that whole idea of what to keep and what to go back to is huge, not just in HR, but in all areas and aspects of most of the organizations. So on that note, let's plan to go into our groups. The first question I'll show you in a moment, the groups will be pre-assigned. I'd ask that you're in your group when you get there, that someone agrees to facilitate and someone agrees to take notes. Ask that the note taker capture two to four key points from your discussion that can be shared in the chat with the large group. Before you leave your group, there'll be a notice that comes up that says your group will be ending in 1 minute. Just type out what those key points will be and be prepared to cut and paste them into the chat box when you join the large group, rejoin the group. So we're going to spend 10 minutes on this first question. And at the end of that 10 minutes, we'll come back and share some of our insights. And then we will go back into different groups for the second question. So this first question is, how can we help our groups and clients understand and build on the disruptions accelerated by the pandemic? Now, I suggest that you take a quick picture of this question so that you have it in front of you when you're move into your groups to talk about it. And Arwind, have you got our groups ready to go?
Yeah, we're going to break into breakout rooms, about 9 breakout rooms, 5 to 6 people per room. So can I start
Perfect.
the room?
Excellent. And I will pop in, Narcy and I will pop into a couple of groups as we go forward here to hear what's being said and answer any questions. So you'll have 10 minutes in your group. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Sure. Manuela, did you get the pop-up? Oh, okay. You don't want to join the room. Okay, fair enough. Tiboho, what about you? Did you get the pop-up? Or are you choosing to be in the main room? Hi, Joel.
Hey, hi, Arvind. How are you guys?
I'm good. So they have we have just gotten into breakout rooms. So if I can push you into one of the rooms, you can catch up there.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Fayed. You've just joined. Welcome to the session. We have just gotten into the breakout rooms. Do you want me to assign you to a breakout room? I'll assign you to a breakout room, but you will have to catch up there. Okay, Fayed, can you hear me? Hi, Kamaldeep.
Hi, Arvind. I think I'm late, so
we are into breakout rooms. I'll just make you join a breakout room. You can at least listen to the conversations or contribute whichever way it works out.
okay, all right. What is the question for the breakout room?
Check in the breakout room. Somebody would have taken a click. So just be in the breakout room, just be present, and that's it.
Okay.
space some ideas on how to keep on going in a remote context when you have something like a drop-in centre. So the non-profits, the service often is that people drop in face to face. It's very difficult to immediately pivot that to be an online provision because you're not offering it in the same way. You don't have people just coming into the hospital and dropping in. So yeah, there's a lot of different things around helping people work out how to evolve their services. And yeah, I think I'm just repeating myself now.
So Jen, maybe just curious when you have navigate through the day-to-day.
And I guess to me, I'm seeing that as a little bit of an action way to help them. What are your thoughts around? Had you intended it that way? Oh, might be frozen. Did you grab that one, Rebecca? What were your thoughts around it? It seemed to me as something that would be worthwhile as a way to help groups and clients understand.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was thinking.
Recently for communication about and I narrowed it down and I narrowed it down and I narrowed it down as much as I possibly could, and I showed it to a friend and he said it's a bit long, and I said, did you read it? And he went, no. I said, well, how do you know that it's kind of long? Long could be, it's 10 pages, but it's long to read. He said, I don't have time. And I said, well, maybe.
So Pragya, I'm from Bangalore, India. Oh, we are like really diverse. Pragya, what about you? Okay. From Philippines. Oh, okay. I think I'm leaving with my collection of patches. Who's this tech backup? Who is our tech backup?
Yeah, hi, this is Arvind. I just am checking the rooms. Ignore me, please. Thank you.
Oh, sure, no worries. Yeah, so since we have few more seconds, let's utilize and let's know a little more about each other. Yeah, like what all are you doing currently?
My thinking was because, in a sense, it's shared responsibility, at least in Switzerland, with the government. Because the healthcare is not entirely private, but also partly common good.
Okay.
In a sense that if hospital did their best to ensure that they can welcome patients, at least if they have financial issues, the government will support. But then I don't know, that's what I was thinking maybe as a solution to stop penalize those who are willing to help. I might have some
Tech backup somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, please ignore me, tech backup. I will just checking the rooms. The room will probably close in another 1 minute.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Sushma.
I was in room 6 and suddenly I got pushed out of there and put into room 8.
Oh, I will just push you back.
Okay.
Some tech monkeys keep playing, yeah. You want to go to room 6, right?
6, right.
Hi, Pari.
Hi, Arvind. I've joined from the mobile.
No issues. You were joining and disconnecting, so I thought maybe.
अरे connection issues हो रहा है वो mobile से.
Otherwise, you're okay?
Yeah. On the road to recovery. That's why I have no video.
Fair enough. That's okay. I'm closing all the
Thanks.
rooms. People will be
Yeah.
popping.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. I think everyone's rejoining our main group now. Those 10 minutes sound like a long time when we say it, but they always go so quickly when we're in our groups, don't they? I'm hoping each of the scribes could please put your group number and then your 2 to 4 summary points, just cut and paste them into the chat. With 10 groups that we have, having each group report back, we wouldn't get to any more of our questions. So we're going to use the chat to see what kinds of themes came out. I did pop in and shamelessly listen in on a few and heard some great conversations. Some of the themes that were coming out of the groups that I heard and what I see in the chat is around, there was some talk about kind of helping our organizations. We have some dogs in the background here. Helping organizations and groups with their hybrid teams and doing that effectively. There was a lot of talk in a few of the groups around how there's so much despair and anxiety among some people in organizations that as facilitators, we have to be very careful that we also recognize and acknowledge and give voice to the fact that there's also a lot of people in organizations that are thriving right now and a lot of organizations that are thriving, and that it's not all doom and gloom. Ensuring there's a balance between those conversations so that the people that really are excited because they've really taken off with some of those new innovations and they're really seeing some wonderful things happening with clients or with customers or with products. You don't want all of that to be brought down to the level of, it's all bad and it's all despair, because it isn't, right? We talked about there's reflecting, there's mourning, but there's also celebration to happen. A number of groups talked about increasing understanding, looking at the why, and really taking the time for a deep breath and a bit of reflection. I heard a few groups, and I see in the chat here, there's some people that talked about the fact that teams are spending, and you can I've talked to lots of different colleagues and clients that say their day is now back-to-back Zoom meetings. And while before all of this happened and we went online, everyone was very busy. But think about the time you spent traveling to meetings where you could actually listen to some music or think about things, where you would walk into the meeting maybe 7, 8, 3 minutes before the meeting started and have a chance to have a cup of coffee and smile at some people and nod and talk about, family and things like that. A lot of that has been eliminated or lost in our Zooming and how to, providing some suggestions or help or processes to clients to help them gain some of that back, some of that personal connection. Also, there was a number of groups I see in the chat, but also when I was listening in, talked about kind of the new normal, the idea that some companies and organizations are in firefighter mode, I think was one of the terms that was used in a group, and they're expecting to see an end to that and an ability to just go back to the old ways. And that may not be an option. Or maybe part of our role is to help our clients and our groups talk about whether that's a good thing or not, whether it is an option, what's the probability of that actually happening, what are the risks and opportunities that that could afford. And the example that I gave you earlier of the scenario planning really provides that opportunity, because it forces the group to actually think about three different scenarios moving forward. I'm conscious of our time, and I do want us to get to our other questions. Narcy, is there any main themes that I have missed here as I summarize the groups?
No, I think it's fine. We can go to the next question.
Excellent. So for our next question, we're going to talk about the engagement part. What are the next waves in community engagement? What will collaboration look like as we move beyond the pandemic exit? How can we help our clients continue to engage their communities, their clients, their customers, their partners? And Arvind, I think maybe we should make this 8 minutes in the groups this time. So you will be automatically put into groups. And I think that if we can talk specifically about that engagement piece, how to help our clients figure out how to continue to evolve their engagement processes and their connections. I'm working with a corporate group right now, and their marketing team is in a bit of a disarray because the way they have always marketed their products in the past has been by taking clients out for dinner, flying around the world and talking to people, hosting meetings and conferences. Those face-to-face options are not available right now. Will they be in the future? We'll see how that evolves. But they are looking at all the different ways that they can continue that connection now, even though they can't be face-to-face. What does that look like? What are the opportunities? How can we as a facilitation profession help them advance those things? I think that's what I'd really like to hear everyone's ideas about in your groups next. So if we can move into our groups, we'll have 8 minutes to talk about
Kimberly,
engagement.
it would help if you can share your screen and show the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is my screen not shared?
No.
There you go. I didn't realize it wasn't. Everyone see that? So the question is, what are the next waves in community engagement? What will collaboration look like as we move beyond the pandemic exit? And how can we help clients continue to engage their communities, clients, and customers? So again, that will be pasted into the chat box, so you'll be able to see that, or you can take a quick picture of it now, and we'll move into our groups for the next 8 minutes.
Okay, opening up all the rooms. Kavita, you joining the room or are you going to stay in the main room? Okay, Fayed, you are joining the room? And same
Yeah.
Yagvinder.
Yes, I'm joining the group.
So you will have to probably click and join the group. Raghavinder, you need any help?
Sorry?
No, there's another gentleman, Raghavinder, also here. So I'm checking with him. Does he need help to move into the room? Raghavinder, you facing any challenge or do I help you out, or are you going to stay in the main room?
Are we going to choose a group?
Oh, you're not being able to go to in a group, Kifayat?
I am not in a group right now, I think. I can join in a group because I would like to learn from those groups.
A message would have popped up right now, Kifayat. You have to click on it to join the group. Do you get that? No? Kifayat, did you get the message on your device requesting you to join a group?
Well, welcome back, everyone. Again, I was able to eavesdrop on a few different groups and hear some of the conversations. Again, just always struck at how deep and insightful conversations in the groups can get in such a short period of time. So thank you for that.
Well, can we have a muting by
Kimberly, can you unmute yourself?
Thanks, Arvind.
There we go. All right. So just a little bit of what I started to hear from people in the groups. Some fascinating conversations. A lot of one group was talking about how they have clients who are really mourning the connection to their physical workspace, to the actual physicality of the office, and how that seems to be affecting their ability to engage. Other group talked about how clients who were very resistant to the whole going online, doing things virtually, have started to become more accepting, and that they have seen a real need to help clients and groups and individuals and organizations learn how to thrive using virtual tools. That there's a lot of groups out there that are just started using Zoom, but really haven't taken the time to learn how to best use these virtual tools and what the different options are, and that there could be a real role for us as facilitators to help groups really see what the potential is and to expand that potential. And that the fact that we are online and we are seeing each other through screens really doesn't necessarily mean that human-to-human connection cannot remain, and helping groups come up with ways to do that and to kind of humanize that piece of the engagement is important. The one group talked about how going virtual and doing this has really pushed people out of their comfort zone, not just staff in the organizations and the organizations themselves, but the clients and the customers as well. Really interested to, in one group, they were talking about kind of just that whole idea of screen fatigue, just the physical fatigue of looking at a screen all day, and the idea of doing eye yoga with people online to help people learn tools and techniques to try and deal with that kind of physical fatigue of looking at a screen all day. Connectivity we talk about being connected. It was interesting in one group, they talked about the fact that we as facilitators need to recognize that not everyone is actually connected. There are many communities around the world where connection is actually very rudimentary. I actually personally live in rural area in Canada, and this has been a great connection this morning, and I'm so pleased that you guys can hear me clearly. But I can tell you that connectivity, just having the bandwidth to be able to do the work that I do is a real challenge. And a lot of groups that I work with, the connectivity is not there. They don't have that ability. And so as facilitators, being able to roll with that and help, especially when you're talking about community engagement, being able to recognize that not all of the members of the organization's community, the clients, will actually have the ability to do everything online. So I think that that connectivity, that just the physical connection of the internet is something that we also have to recognize. And I see in the chat, one of the groups talked about kind of the empathy part of this. And it was interesting because one particular group member said that she has found with her corporate clients that actually the leaders in the organization are becoming more connected on a human and personal level with their employees now that they're not all the time, because when they are talking to their employees online, they're talking to them from their homes. And so they see the family members walking behind, and they see the kids running in, and the dog barking and things like that. And it actually makes it a little more humanistic, because the rhythm of the family is happening behind the person on the screen, and that has brought a different element into the discussion. Again, Narcy, have I missed any main themes out of the chat here?
So Kimberly, you're capturing the essence very well. I think we have another 20 minutes. So I wonder if you want to go to the third one. And members are also able to see the chat and read the chats, yes. Exactly.
Okay, terrific. So, and thank you, Katya, for putting in a link, a YouTube link to exercises of eye yoga, which I think is something that probably almost everybody on the call is going to be checking out after this. So our next question, our last question, is more on that kind of humanistic piece. So many groups need time to reflect, mourn, and celebrate what is and has happened and what it means for them personally and for their organization. How can we help clients understand this need, the fact that that conversation actually does need to happen, and how can we design processes to make this effective and purposeful? Again, going back, the first group that I was with in our last question talked about it's not all bad. We don't want to push groups into a spiral of despair. How do we hold the space for these questions and these conversations and make sure that they are effective and purposeful? I'm going to give people just 5 minutes in this group to have this conversation, and then we'll come back and conclude our session. So Arwin, can we put people into the groups for 5 minutes?
Sure. I'm opening up all the rooms now. And do click on the link when it pops up on your screen to join the rooms.
Welcome back again, everyone. I know that was a very short time to talk about a very complex issue, but in the couple of groups that I did listen in on, I really heard some great ideas. It sounds like people have been doing some really interesting things to help their groups both deal with kind of the reflection, recognize and acknowledge the mourning, but also celebrate the success, the fact that they have been able to innovate. They have been able to meet needs and do things that had before been considered next to impossible. Many times when I've been working with groups over the last 6 months and doing these types of conversations, hearing people say things like, never in my wildest dreams did I think we would be able to move these programs effectively online and meet the needs of our clients in a 6-week period. We had been talking about this, and we had a 5-year projection to accomplish this task. And even then we didn't think we'd make our timelines, and we actually did it, and we did it successfully in 6 weeks. Good for us. And so those types of conversations are also really important. I heard people talking about using mindfulness processes and appreciative inquiry as processes to help the groups have these conversations. And a couple of the groups were talking about the fact that one of the challenges was just getting leadership teams or organizations, or sometimes the groups themselves, to recognize that how important it is to actually make the time and space to have these conversations. Everyone's so busy doing that now, even more than before, as facilitators, we're having a hard time convincing the groups to take the time to reflect and go through these types of conversations. There was discussion about acknowledging the reaction of the current challenges, but not focusing solely on that. There was some talk about that actually acknowledging those reactions helps calm the emotions, and creating a safe space to do that is part of our role as facilitators. One individual talked about he had created a discussion canvas to help the group work through these issues and recognize and talk about them. I see in the chat here, one of the groups talked about encouraging people to turn on their cameras, to not hide behind a blank screen. And while another group talked about how that might be a barrier because some people's connectivity is so low that once everybody turns on their cameras, then it becomes, the bandwidth becomes overloaded. So it's not an easy answer. There is no one way, but it seems like there's some great examples in the chat here from different groups about how people in our profession are helping groups have these conversations. Narcy, if I missed any main themes here that are in the chat?
I think Kimberly, you've covered them.
Yes, perfect. You're going on. So we have 7 minutes, Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to use this?
Great. So Rosanna notes in the chat, one of the themes maybe that needs to be highlighted is the effective use of silence in our work. We as facilitators know the importance of silence. Funny enough, people are a lot more willing to allow and use silence in a meeting when they're face-to-face in the same room than they are when they're online. Silence online often means that people are multitasking or losing focus. So there are some real challenges around that, and some of the things I'm sure that people have come up with great ways to deal with that, and you can add those into the chat. Maybe we can somehow curate some of the great ideas that have been coming through this chat as we end this session.
So Rosanna has added one quality of silence, purposeful silence, she says.
Purposeful silence, absolutely. Absolutely. And Sheldon has added a link here with a canvas for having conversations. So the last kind of comment I'd like to leave people with, and maybe we can just reflect on as we end our session. The world has never been simpler static. This is not new. We've always been, as facilitators, we've always been agents of change. I think now more than ever, we have an opportunity, actually, opportunity is not the right word. I think as a profession, we have a duty to help our clients how to move forward through this uncertainty. The pandemic exit path will not be a straight line. But as facilitators, we're adept at helping groups through messy conversations. That's what we do. That's why we are here. So in our last 5 minutes, I'm hoping that we can each share a little bit of the reflections and insights that we've gained from today's discussion, and maybe think a little bit about what one thing we might do differently moving forward to help our clients through this uncertainty. So we can have people share verbally. You can open up your mic and share, or in the chat. We have 4 minutes left on the session, and I'm really excited about the great ideas that came out of the groups and are in the chat. We will save that, and hopefully maybe someone can curate that into a nice little article that can go in the global flip chart as we move forward. So ideas or reflections from anyone before we close off?
Yeah, I would love to just share a little reflection. As an independent contractor, I can assume a lot of you also feel that it's easy to get disconnected from my network of like change agents and facilitators. And so this is, I haven't been to a training. I haven't forced myself, I guess, back into some learning. And so just for me, just to always keep on educating myself on wonderful trainings like this, and to continue reading and going back to techniques and asking for help from my network, I think is just, I feel reinvigorated from this training, and that realize that I'm not alone as a facilitator is just helpful for me.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Serena. Yeah. Sushma has you have your hand up?
Thank you, Kimberly. Wonderful session, and I really like the scenario-based planning, and how you did that part, and even the thing of you need to reflect, celebrate, and mourn, what's happening. And I think these two were great, wonderful takeaways, and I'm definitely going to apply them going forward. So thank you, everyone, to all the people who were in my breakout rooms, and of course, everybody contributing to the chat. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you. Excellent. We're getting some great reflections in the chat as well. Rosanna says that facilitation skills have never been more impactful. We need to lift each other and our clients up. And Rebecca notes, I'm struck by the potential responsibility of facilitators to help people navigate this uncertain time well. Well, we are almost at the end. We have just a few seconds left, and I would like to acknowledge and thank the great IAF India team. This has been flawlessly executed, so thank you for that. It's been a great session. I really appreciate everyone. I know for some of you have gotten up long before dawn, and others of you have stayed up long after the sun has gone down. So I appreciate that as well. The sun is just coming up here. It's about -8 degrees outside, and with a blanket of snow outside our window. So I'm sure everyone else, I hope, is safe and well and busy. And I look forward to reconnecting again soon, both in person and online with everyone. So thank you very much, all.
Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. Wonderful session. Landed on time. The flight landed on time, although we are not flying nowadays. Bang on. So Arvind, I think you got the taste of that Kimberly's session 2030 in India time. Exactly 90th minute. So thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining from across the globe. You made it wonderful because the participants make a huge difference. So February we have Sharon Honor from Australia, the Oceania region, who will be giving us a fantastic webinar. Once again, we thank all the global facilitators for supporting us in this event, which has been going on for the past 3 years from 2017. April 2017 we started, and it was Kimberly who inaugurated that. And from time onwards, she has been doing it for every year. So thanks everyone, and we will see you in February, mid of February. Please watch the IAF Global website for the date and the theme. Namaste, and thank you very much. Thanks, Kimberly, once again. Thanks, Arvind. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Narsi, and thanks, Kimberly.
Thanks, everyone.
Phenomenal.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can
Thanks,
come out of
thanks,
mute.
Kimberly, for the great session.
Yeah, thank you very much.